Today was not just a good day for Tesla stock. It was a day that showed something much more important. Tesla is quietly changing what FSD means. AI5 just hit a real milestone, and the market clearly reacted to that mix all at once. Hey everyone, this is Ken. Today, I want to break down 3 Tesla developments that came together in a very interesting way. First, Tesla changed how supervised FSD is treated inside its insurance-related safety score system. Second, AI5 chip development moved forward with a tape-out milestone. And third, TSLA responded with a strong move higher. What makes today important is not just that these headlines happened, it is that when you put them together, you get a much clearer picture of what Tesla is doing right now, what may be getting misunderstood, and what investors should actually pay attention to. So, in this video, I want to focus less on hype and more on what these updates really mean as of today. Let's start with the first story, because in my view, this may actually be the most interesting one. Tesla introduced Safety Score 3.0, and one of the key changes is that miles driven using supervised FSD are now treated more favorably in the scoring logic. In simple terms, Tesla is creating a system where using FSD can make it easier for some drivers to get a better safety score, which can then help lower insurance costs. That is a pretty meaningful shift. Up to now, many people have looked at FSD mainly as a convenience feature or as an advanced driving experience, and that is fair. But this update pushes FSD into something much more practical. It begins to connect FSD not just to driving experience, but to money, specifically monthly insurance costs. That matters because convenience is subjective. Some drivers love FSD, others are still cautious, but insurance is different. It hits the wallet directly. Once software starts affecting real monthly costs, the conversation changes. Now, I think the biggest point here is not simply that some people may save money on insurance. The deeper point is that Tesla itself is starting to design policy around the idea that FSD-assisted driving deserves more favorable treatment in how safety is measured. That is a much heavier signal than the headline might suggest. In other words, inside Tesla's own system, FSD is not being treated as just another optional feature. It is starting to be treated as part of the safety framework itself. That is why I think this news matters. At the same time, we should stay careful here. This does not mean every Tesla owner suddenly gets cheaper insurance by turning on FSD. Based on current reporting, the rollout appears limited, especially to certain new policies in some US states. So the immediate real-world impact is still narrow. But direction matters, and the direction here is very clear. Tesla is beginning to tie software behavior to financial incentives. That could become much more important over time if this model expands. Now, let's move to the second story, the AI5 chip. Elon Musk said AI5 has taped out, and tape out is a real milestone. It means the chip design phase has reached a point where it can move into the manufacturing path. In semiconductor development, that is not a small step. It is a serious checkpoint. So yes, this is positive news, but this is also where I think investors need to slow down and separate progress from imagination. A lot of people see a headline like AI5 tape out and immediately jump to the idea that Tesla vehicles are about to change dramatically, or that a brand new generation of cars is right around the corner. I do not think today's information supports that kind of conclusion. Tape out means forward progress. It does not mean mass production is ready. It does not mean rapid deployment is next. And it definitely does not mean current vehicles suddenly become obsolete. That distinction matters a lot. What makes the AI5 story even more interesting is the question of what the chip is really for. When people hear about a new Tesla AI chip, the natural assumption is that it must be about the next vehicle hardware platform. But based on how this story is being discussed, there is a growing view that AI5 may be aimed less at immediate in-car use and more at broader AI purposes, including Optimus or AI training infrastructure. And if that is true, it changes how investors should read this, because one of the biggest fears whenever a new chip appears is this question: what about current AI4 vehicles? Are they about to look outdated? Is Tesla about to move past them much faster than expected? But honestly, that does not seem to be the signal Tesla is sending right now. If anything, Tesla still appears committed to pushing FSD forward on current generation hardware. Elon Musk has also made comments suggesting that existing hardware can still reach strong levels of safety performance. So for now, I think the better interpretation is this: AI5 is important, it is real progress, but it is probably too early to turn this into a story about immediate vehicle disruption. What we can say today is that Tesla's AI stack is advancing. What we should not say yet is that next-gen vehicle capability is about to instantly leap in front of everything else. So if we pause here for a moment, both of today's major Tesla news items have something in common. They are both positive, but they are also both easy to overread if you only look at the headline. The insurance story is not everyone gets cheaper rates overnight. The AI5 story is not every Tesla vehicle is about to be transformed immediately. In both cases, the signal is real, but the timing and scope still matter. And this is exactly why I think today was a good example of why investors need interpretation, not just headlines. Now let's talk about the stock. TSLA had a strong move today, and what stood out to me was not only the size of the move, but the way it behaved after the move. The stock pushed higher, buying came in clearly, and it did not immediately fall apart. It held relatively strong levels. That matters, because when a stock jumps and instantly fades, that often looks like shallow headline chasing. But when it pushes up and then stays elevated, that can suggest something a bit more serious. It may indicate that buyers were responding to a broader shift in tone, not just one quick news spike. So what did the market respond to? I do not think the cleanest answer is simply AI5. Yes, AI5 tape out helped, but if you explain today's whole move with that one headline alone, I think that is too simplistic. A more balanced explanation is that multiple things hit at once. You had the AI5 milestone, you had the FSD insurance angle, which helps reinforce Tesla's software value story. You also had earnings approaching, and probably some bounce effect after the stock had already been under pressure. So to me, today looked less like one headline sending the stock up, and more like the market suddenly seeing several reasons at once to reprice Tesla more positively. That is a different kind of move. Now, from an investor perspective, the key is not to overreact in either direction. If you overreact on the bullish side, you start acting like everything is solved. But that is clearly not true. AI5 still has a long path ahead. The insurance mechanism is still limited, and Tesla still has to prove execution in the next phase. But if you underreact, you may miss what the market started to buy today. And what I think the market bought today was not perfection. It was the idea that Tesla may be starting to show better alignment again between product progress, AI progress, and investor narrative. Whether that becomes something durable is still an open question. but today may have been the start of that conversation. That is why I would not dismiss this move, and I also would not celebrate too early. So let me simplify today's story into 3 takeaways. First, FSD is starting to matter in a more real-world way, not just as a driving feature, but as something tied to insurance logic and potentially monthly cost. Second, AI5 has made real progress, but that does not automatically mean immediate vehicle transformation, and its most important use may not even be near-term in-car deployment. Third, the market responded positively to a combination of improving signals, and TSLA's strong move suggests that investors were not just buying a headline. They may have been buying the possibility of a broader re-rating. Personally, the most interesting part of today was still the connection between FSD and insurance. AI5 is easier to talk about, it sounds bigger, it gets more attention, and stock price action always gets headlines. But the FSD insurance link may end up being the kind of quiet change that matters more over time because it touches owner behavior directly and makes the software story more tangible. At the same time, as investors, I think it is important not to get too far ahead of the evidence. Tape out is not deployment. Policy direction is not mass rollout. One strong market day is not full confirmation. But for long-term Tesla investors, today was still important, not because it proved everything, but because it gave us a clearer look at where Tesla stands right now. FSD is being treated more seriously, AI development is moving forward, and the market is paying attention again. Now the next step is confirmation. Earnings, execution, and follow-through will determine whether today was just a strong day or the beginning of something more meaningful. That is what I will be watching closely. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Before we wrap up, let me take a moment to introduce myself. I drive a Tesla Model Y, and at home I've installed a Tesla Powerwall, so I actually charge my car with solar energy. I truly believe Tesla is shaping the future, and that's why I share the latest news and insights here on this channel. I'm from Japan, but I want to connect with Tesla fans all around the world. That's why I also create an English version of my videos. YouTube now lets you switch the audio into your own language, so you can enjoy it in whatever language you prefer. Most of all, I'd love to connect with Tesla fans everywhere so we can support Tesla together. I also share updates on X, so feel free to follow me there and let's connect. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.